Life is truly vanity. The quests for fame, money, power, and the like are eventually momentary, as genuine happiness and fulfillment are the only lasting values. You might be wondering what I'm going on about. Well, I'm reflecting on life and its unpredictable nature. The wise choose caution and be intentional. For many years, I allowed my wife, Helen, to have her way in our marriage. People called me names and mocked me. They thought I was weak, but I was deliberate. My responsibility and priority were our children, so I stayed. My mind traveled to when it all started. Hi, welcome to Folktales at Dawn, a storytelling channel for your entertainment. We drop at least 3 beautiful stories every week, and I am sure you don't want to miss any of these beautiful work of arts. Do well to subscribe and hit the notification icon so that you will be the first to be notified when we drop amazing stories. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. I love you so much. Yes, you. I really do. Now let's dive back into the story. Helen got this new lucrative job and we were both excited about the opportunities the job brings coupled with the impact on our standard of living. She had been slaving away at her old job with low pay and no job satisfaction. I personally was happy because I felt that we would be able to advance our dreams with both of us making good money. But the happiness was short-lived when just a few months after working at the new company, Helen started coming home late. Initially, I tried to be understanding and supportive, but in time I noticed that she was changing in other ways. I had my suspicions, but such accusations are not easily made without evidence. I remember confronting her one particular evening. I returned home from work with the kids, and as usual, followed our routine. Head to your rooms, freshen up, and be back in 30 minutes for homework, I instructed. Reluctantly, they followed my directive. All they want is to play and watch TV, but I always insisted on homework first. I had 2 rules: no TV or games on school days, and homework must be promptly done. Raising boys has its challenges, and mine were no exception. While in my room, my phone rang. "Hi Sarah, what's up?" The ND asked about the assessment. "He wants it sooner." "I can't. I just got home. In 3 hours, when the kids are in bed, I'll see what I can do. Boundaries are important to me. I communicate them clearly, whether it is with family members who visit without prior notice or bringing work home. When my work commitment clashes with my obligation to my family, I choose my family and my ND knows it. I only make exceptions when it's urgent." I took a quick shower and a trip to the kitchen to prepare snacks and drinks for the kids. They took 45 minutes to appear, and after having their snacks, they settled down to do their homework under my supervision. Afterwards, they played outside briefly. While they played, I prepared for the next day, uniforms laid out, outfits chosen, and dirty clothes in the laundry. Dinner preparation involved teamwork. After dinner, we cleaned up, and by 8 p.m., the children went to bed. 10 minutes later, I checked on them, wished them good night, and returned to work for 2 more hours. Just as I sent the document to my boss, I heard my wife Helen arrive at 11 p.m. Curious about what her excuse will be this time, I questioned her. "Hello, honey," she greeted. "What's the excuse today?" I inquired. "You know I work closely with my ND and we have projects we are working on," she explained. I expressed my concern about her changing priorities and the increasing frequency of late returns. Our conversation took a tense turn. "Are you cheating on me?" I asked. I couldn't help myself as all the signs were there. "I don't have time for this, Christian," she replied, walking away. "Helen, come back. I'm not done talking." "I am done talking, and you know what? I don't care, you can think whatever you want." The situation persisted with Helen consistently coming home late every other night. Even when she was at home, she seemed disengaged from our children, neglecting tasks like cooking and cleaning. Instead, she hired someone to handle these responsibilities twice a week. Despite her desire for a live-in maid, I firmly opposed it. Helen and I have not been intimating for months as she is always complaining of tiredness. Having a maid in the house will be a distraction. One day, as I was in our bedroom responding to messages on my phone, Helen walked in. We hardly speak these days. She took off her shoes and dropped her bag, announcing an official trip the next day that would extend into the weekend. What official trip? Isn't it supposed to be the weekend? I questioned. Yes, my boss has a meeting, and I have to travel with him, she replied casually. I know you don't care about me, but what about the children? What about them? Are you not here to take care of them? It's not my duty to take care of them alone. You're the one who didn't want to live in maid, so be ready to take care of them. I'm going to take a shower, she retorted. Hellen traveled that weekend and only called once to talk to the children. I didn't know where she went, and she returned on Tuesday night. My friends had informed me that they saw her with her boss on weekends when she claimed to be working. Confronting Hellen led to arguments, and she moved out of our bedroom, opting to sleep in the guest room. I escalated the matter to her family, only to discover that her mother supported her actions. Weekend traveling became the order of the day. One afternoon at work, I was visited by Hellen's boss's wife, who presented evidence of Atanuk's infidelity and revealed the existence of a secret house she had built without my knowledge. She disclosed that her husband was asking her for a divorce to marry Hellen. Grateful for the information, I thanked her, and she departed. Despite the revelations, I chose to remain in the marriage for the sake of our sons, as I wished to protect them from the potential negative impacts of divorce and separation. Living in this manner became the norm for many years. Only I know how lonely and pained I felt. Hellen eventually requested a divorce. Her boss's wife, initially resistant to granting her husband a divorce, eventually relented. Consequently, Hellen moved out of our matrimonial home and initiated divorce proceedings. Although I saw it coming, coping with it proved challenging. Hellen left me to explain the reasons for the divorce to our children, who were no longer children but teenagers, capable of understanding the situation. Surprisingly, they became my source of comfort, assuring me that we were better off without her. Lying in bed that night, I reflected on our shared journey and how things had taken a turn for the worse. Despite the promising dreams we once had, Hellen discarded me like bad water, seemingly unaffected by any sense of guilt. Lost in contemplation, my phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number. Answering the call, I received startling news. Hellen and her boss had been kidnapped, demanding a ransom of 100 million naira per person. Hellen stayed in the kidnappers' den for many days, with her boss's family and friends successfully raising ATM. Unfortunately, Hellen's family were not able to come up with such money. They approached me, but I didn't have that kind of money, and even if I did, there was no way I was going to come to her rescue. To raise the ransom, her family had to sell off her house. On the day they were to be released, only Hellen was released. According to her, her lover suffered a fatal heart attack and died. The kidnappers threw his body in a river. Her boss's family accused her of masterminding the kidnap. She was picked up by the police and spent several weeks in custody. Eventually, when taken to court, she was released due to a lack of concrete evidence. It has been several months now, and Hellen's family is asking me to forgive her and take her back. But I instructed my lawyer to proceed with the divorce. I had more than enough evidence to prove her infidelity. Hellen lost her job, and with her boss gone, there was no one to protect her. The once vibrant and arrogant Hellen now found herself humbled and reliant on others for basic needs. I continue to focus on raising our sons and protecting them from the complexities of our situation. Despite her family pleading I should take her back, I stood firm, believing she had made her bed and now she must lay on it,